So today's video is going to be about FTPs, and if you don't know what an FTP is, it just basically stands for Functional Threshold Power. Functional Threshold Power is basically a figure of power that you kind of work out, and it's basically to find out how much power you could do for an hour. And the way that you generally test this is by doing a 20-minute like segment of a climb or a flat piece of road where you just put a load of power out for 20 minutes, and then basically you can work out your functional threshold power based on that 20 minutes. I don't really understand how it works. All you do is put it into a calculator online and it gives you a figure, like a lower figure from your FTP, of what you could actually do for an hour. And it's not just so that you know, oh well, I can do that for an hour, great. It's not necessarily so that you know what you can do for an hour. It's basically a figure that you can kind of tailor your training to, and from that figure you can get lots of different information, different training plans, different information as to what your endurance pace is, well, your active recovery, endurance. There's like a whole list, so it goes from like the easiest, which is, I'll put a list up so you can actually see, but it basically goes from like active recovery, endurance, there's like a sweet spot, tempo, there's like a whole list. So then you work out what your figures are for each of those, and then you can tailor your own training plan to it. So that is a very brief outline of what it actually is. And I basically went out and did 2 of these over the weekend, which is ridiculous because you should never really do 2. But this is basically what happened. I might just stop. Did the FTP, but I feel like I'm gonna be sick. But I guess this is how you should feel once you've done a FTP. You probably got it because it's so windy. Don't worry, I'm in a lay-by. Fuck though, that was hard. And it's so windy, so mentally it's harder. Doesn't make any difference to power, but right, I'm going on. So I did the first one on the Saturday on a climb that I've not particularly done that many times. It is actually like I said, like the longest climb in the UK, so it's nice and long for it. But I don't know what it was that day. I did have a new saddle on it, whether that affected anything. But I don't know, I just don't feel like I felt like I could have pushed harder. And then on the Sunday I went out and I was just going to do like an 80k loop, fair bit of climbing, so I was going to go pretty steady. But then I went to Duffstones, and Duffstones, if you don't watch any of my other videos, Duffstones is my favourite place in the world. It is like my favourite ever climb. It's just like, it's beautiful. I love Duffstones. I've not got my phone in. My phone has got I've shown you before, but the back of my phone has got a picture of Duffstones on it just because I just love it so much. It's such a beautiful climb. You can do such good like efforts up there. Anyway, I did that on the Sunday and it was so much higher. It was like 10 watts higher, I think. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of basically share that with you. And I also want to talk about, very briefly, because I don't want to make it such a long video, how FTP and your power can change, or can kind of basically stay the same, but your times can go up and down, like on a particular climb. So for me, my FTP that I did, the highest one that I've ever done was 278 watts. And that was about a year ago. I think it was August 2016, so it's been a year ago. And it was on the exact same climb, but my time for that FTP, I genuinely can't remember, but it was a lot a fair bit slower than what I did at the weekend. And I didn't really understand, and I couldn't really get my head around that. I was like, but why? I don't understand it. I don't really understand what this is. So I'm just trying to make it as simple as possible. So basically, because I was heavier then, I was having to push up, I was having to use more power to get that weight up the hill, to get that weight up the climb. Whereas if I'm putting the same power down, but I'm actually lighter, I'm able to go quicker. So maybe for some people it just seems straightforward, and to me now it's like, oh, I understand that. But at the time I was like, I just couldn't work that out. And yeah, just basically sharing that with you. So even though my FTP is still, I think it's 3 watts lower than my highest ever one, I'm probably about, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 kilos lighter now than I was then. So maybe like 6, I can't remember how much I weighed then, but maybe like 6 kilos lighter. So that affects it as well. And also another thing to know if you are new to doing this or you want to go out and do one, obviously you have to have a power meter. But also it doesn't matter if it's windy, it doesn't matter if you've got any of those other variables that if you were doing a personal best, for example, you wouldn't want a windy day. Whereas if you've got a windy day and you're pushing against it doing an FTP, it doesn't matter because power is power regardless. So I just feel like no one has ever really, maybe I'm not searching for it, but I just don't feel like anyone has ever really explained what FTP is, what it does and what its benefits are. I'll do a couple of different other videos because I'm going to try and, I've never actually done like a specific training plan for myself. I've done odd bits on rides where I've pushed more and had little like lap sessions of like 2-minute intervals, but I've not really done that much. I feel like I should share that with you. And actually, if you've got tips of training plans to do to increase kind of power, then let me know in the comments below. That is going to be something that I'm doing. So I think the actual take home is if you want to get quicker up a climb or you want to increase your FTP, work at sections of that chunk of, say you want to be 300 watts for 20 minutes, start at 300 watts for 5 minutes, then just gradually increase it and just keep pushing yourself and pushing yourself to it, I guess. But yeah, I just think it's interesting, FTP. I think it's a really interesting way to look at, I just like looking at data. But then at the same time, I feel like sometimes we look too much at data and you actually don't enjoy the ride as much. So I'm kind of like halfway in the middle. Like I don't ever want to just ride, well I do want to just ride for the sake of it, but the other half of me is like, actually I really like looking at data and seeing how I can improve, and it's only improvements for you. So I hope that video helps. And yeah, it's not recommended, like I said, to do 2 FTPs straight after. You should do them like every 6 weeks or so, every 6 to 8 weeks, and I've not been doing that, so that is something that I will do, and I'll keep you updated how I'm getting on, if my training is actually making a difference, what kind of things I'm doing. But yeah, I do like it. I like the sweat of it. I like the test of it. Quite enjoy it. Quite enjoy the pain and the suffering because it does hurt, and I did feel quite sick after it. So yeah. Anyway. Hope that helps, and I will, like always, I will see this video. If you've not subscribed, subscribe to my channel because you're obviously going to get loads more cycling related content. And yeah, see this video. Bye!